Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. It's the midweek episode, and we each have a topic we want to discuss, so let's do it. Let's talk some baseball. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. My name is Jimmy. I got Jake sitting right next to me, and Trevor Plouffe coming from Hawaii. Producer BBD behind the dish. As I said, brought to you by SeatGeek. I don't know if you guys heard, Trev, you might have seen the tweets. We announced it. Family Day. JM Family Day. I was getting a massage, which meant I'm alone with my thoughts, and then I usually come out with an idea every time I get a massage. I just text Jake or someone and say, hey, I thought of something new, because what else am I going to do when I'm just sitting there thinking? And I said, we should have a giveaway at a stadium like every weekend and get some kids going to baseball games. So we did it. We reached out to SeatGeek, and they said, absolutely, we'll partner with you there. So not only can you get $20 off your first order at SeatGeek using the code TALKIN, Talkin, you can also, each weekend, look to see what stadium, what city the JM Family Day is taking place in. And if you have, wife, husband, couple kids, kid and a friend, kid and a cousin, whatever, we'll hook you up. Believe they are in Atlanta this weekend, and we'll post it on all the social medias. Choose someone at random to send them to the game. Really happy that SeatGeek was able to help us make that happen. Also, download their app, use it to buy tickets. You get $20 off your tickets at SeatGeek with promo code TALKIN, Talkin. All right, we're getting more into the flow of things here as we get into like the second Monday midweek episode. We record on Tuesdays, goes out Wednesday, Friday. World, I feel more into the rhythm of baseball already. Jake, how are you feeling?
James, Trevor, and i.e. BBD. I feel good, Jim, and I'll tell you what, this is another feeling that you have to feel in baseball season. The Yankees did not play last night, and I had my moment where I was on the couch at 7:45, and I was like, what do I do? I brought up some games on my phone. I was like, you know what? I haven't watched Scrubs in a while. That had been my show for a long time. Like, I'm at the last season. And I went to log into Hulu, and the login wasn't logged in. So I said, okay, well, I'm not going to click around and log into Hulu right now. So I kind of just sat on the couch aimlessly for a couple minutes and then continued to watch some baseball on my phone. So that means baseball season is back. When there's an off game and I just feel totally lost for a minute, that means we're back in it. So I'm feeling good. Excited to yuck it up. Last midweek episode, we only had so many data points to talk about. And I'm a data guy, Trev. So I'm excited to jazz it up with you boys.
There is absolutely nothing worse than having to put in a password in your email on the television. Like, we got to be better than that as a society. It's brutal. It takes too long. You fumble around. Who even knows the remote is? I'm over that.
Do I have the right password?
Why don't they do a QR thing? Some places do it. There's some apps. Is it Apple? Amazon, where you just hold your phone up to the QR, and if you're logged in on your phone, then you're logged in?
Need it.
Everyone should do that.
I think Amazon at least has you go to this website, hit the thing, and enter the code we're putting on the TV. That's at least better than the typing.
We got to figure out that whole TV phone connection. It's not there yet. What is there though? My skill level in all things ball related. You guys saw, I've been playing a little bit of catch on the beach. All the moms checking me out. Who's that stud over there? He can catch one behind his back. He fields ground balls with grace. That's what they're saying. But last night, Jake, I told you this. Now, Jimmy and BBD, be prepared to be impressed here.
Very impressed.
I went to a luau last night. Okay. There was some traditional Hawaiian attire there, and there was some traditional Hawaiian games. Now, one of the games, James, I think you're particularly going to be interested in this, as you are a fellow gamesman. It was two little sticks, about 4 inches apart, one Jake Story Alley pecker apart. And you had a little ball, like a rock, and you had to roll it through. So a lot of kids were trying, some parents were trying, to no avail. And I asked the guy, like, can you do this? He's, I can't really do this, but that guy's really good. So I ended up playing this guy. Who do you think won?
I think you won.
I beat him at his own game. I'm just on a winning streak right now. And so are you, because there was a really nice article that came out about you along with a podcast you did. Congratulations. All my business friends I know are going to be texting me because like they really follow this guy.
Yeah.
And he wrote a nice little article on you and had you on. How did that go?
It was good, man. It was part of like SeatGeek. Yes Network announced that they were working with us, and it got a lot of press. And then SeatGeek said, "Hey, we want to be in that business of press release." And I said, "Okay, do a press release." And I did a podcast for him.
We got that good smell right now. Everyone wants that good smell. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with 4 inches. Some say 5's okay. And yeah, getting a invisible message text from Trev at 12:15 a.m. Played some rolling a rock through 2 sticks game at a local luau. Beat him, obviously. Which brings us to the baseball.
Dude, that game, Trev, is called Moa Pahii.
Well, I mowed it down. Moa Pai right there, baby. And you know what was great for me? Even Olivia was impressed. It takes a lot to impress her. And like I did it last night because it was like in front of a lot of people.
I mean,
that's the best part of my vacation so far.
If anyone needs a visual of what Trev's talking about, it's like a field goal on the ground with a rock that you have to roll through the field goal.
Frisbee rock.
Yeah, 2 of Jake's boners. If Jake was buried right underneath the surface.
Olivia was impressed by that.
Yeah.
Olivia was impressed by that size. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It is pretty badass to beat a
was.
native
Very
at their
impressive.
native game, you know?
I felt really good about myself. There's no doubt.
Cool. We each have a topic that we want to bring and talk about. We have not decided on an order. Jake, you decide on the order. What topic do you want to hear first? Do you want to tell first, or do you want to hear Trev's, or do you want to hear mine?
Trev's running hot. He got the internet hooked up. He's crispy, Trev, right now. He's giving off the vibe that he may have had sex in the past 48 hours. So let's get him going. Or should we talk
see
about
how much
something?
energy I have? I don't want to go into that, okay?
Okay.
All right, because you weren't Roman ready, and that's why you didn't have sex. And all you got to do is go to getroman.com/talkin, and you will talk with the U.S. licensed healthcare professional, and they will help you, be able to get your sticks off the ground.
Too many Mai Tais. My wiener didn't work.
No, I don't put that in my body.
Wieners,
Beer and wine only.
Yeah, neither of them. Go to getroman.com/talkin now to speak to a U.S. licensed healthcare professional about erectile dysfunction. Get $15 off your first treatment. Reconnect with your partner. 52% of men between the ages of Chris Rose and Chris Rose will experience some form of ED. 40 and 70
That is not
are
nice.
the ages.
What's 40? That's when it starts for most people?
52% of people between the ages 40 and 70.
Damn, man.
It could,
You get to 71, rocket, nonstop.
What's really cool is like you can fix it. It's not like, oh, I'm 40 and now half the people's boners don't work. They all can work.
Yeah,
It's true.
I'm sure some of those 52%, some of them are, 35 on vacation and they have an incident.
Yeah.
It ain't here. You know that.
Not there.
Too much.
Not there.
Too much. I'm too Roman
IT.
ready. It's ridiculous.
Specialty.
Go to getroman.com/talkin
curse.
today. If you're prescribed, you get $15 off your first month of ED treatment. Make sure you're ready to have confidence and control this summer and be Roman ready. Trev, I want to hear about your topic because it's got a little history tied to it.
Yeah, so, on these Wednesday episodes, we all text what we want to do. Jake is doing something, whatever he's going to do, but it got me thinking about, I'm here in Hawaii. I'm loving my time. What do I love about baseball? I love hitters, and I love beautiful right-handed hitters. And a guy that, fits that description is Miguel Cabrera, who is 5 hits away from 3,000. Now he eclipsed the 500 home run mark already. The 3,000 hit club, like it's going to happen. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, first ballot type of guy. We know some of his accolades. We can kind of go over those, I guess. He's a 2-time MVP. He did win the Triple Crown. He has won a World Series, 4 batting titles, 7 Silver Sluggers, 11 All-Star games. I mean, the guy, I guess we don't really need to talk about how good he is. We know. I'm looking at the Baseball Reference page right now, and his best years were 2010 to 2016. I got a front row seat to most of those years, or all of those years, actually. And I want to talk about an article that came out in The Athletic. I want to make sure I am saying who wrote it. Oh, of course. I have to shout this guy out. It is my guy, Stephen J. Nesbitt, a John Boy Media listener, and an all-around great columnist and writer for The Athletic. And what he did was he went and talked to a bunch of guys around the league who have been around Miggy, whether it's a Miggy Rojas, who I don't believe has ever played with him, but knows him from Florida. You talked to Nick Castellanos, to JD Martinez. It's just a bunch of guys. And it's kind of cool to see everyone kind of talk about the same things. You know, because I got to see it up close and personal, I have some thoughts about Miggy. And sometimes, hey, maybe I worship this guy a little bit too much because I just saw all of his good years. But you really go and look around the league, and guys, just, you're going to love this, Jake. He's different, is the quote in this article. He is just different. One of the things that really the article talked about, and I've experienced firsthand again, was his BP. Now, a lot of times when you have a guy that can hit homers like him, like I said, part of the 500 home run club, you can be a one-trick pony. Miguel Cabrera is the opposite of that. When you go watch this guy take BP, he has a purpose. And he's the only guy I know in the big leagues. Maybe Stanton's there. Maybe Shohei's there now. I don't know. He's the only guy that when I was in the big leagues, that people would go watch take batting practice if you were on the opposing team. And again, I thought maybe that we were the only team that did that because we played him so much, but everybody liked to go out and just kind of study what he did. And it's really cool. What he does do in BP is he just starts peppering the ball to right field. And it's not like a fillet type of thing. He's not trying to hit a ground ball to the second baseman. This mofo is hitting line drives into the right field bleachers, and he does it every single time. He is a legit machine with what he does, and he'll start going to right field, hit a few balls there, look around to see if everyone's watching, make sure everyone's seeing what he's doing. Then he goes to right center, then he goes to center, then he goes to left center, and then maybe at the end he'll start pulling some balls down the left field line just to show that he can do it. His tutelage goes all across the league. Some of the league's best hitters say they owe everything to Miggy Cabs. JD Martinez, let go by the Astros, studied Miguel Cabrera's swing to try to emulate it, ends up signing with the Tigers, gets to play with Miggy, and the rest is history. He became one of the better hitters in the league for quite some time, made a ton of money, and he called it a God's wink to get put on the same team as Miguel Cabrera. I tried to learn as much as I could from him. I wish I could have got to play with him. I have talked about on the show before, when you sign a guy like a Pujols, or when you get to play with the Cabrera, he's worth so much more money than what his numbers give you on the field. He is essentially, is he the best hitting coach in the world? Can we call Miguel Cabrera the best hitting coach in the world? I think we probably can. He's one of the best hitting coaches in the world, and he also rakes and is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I want to say one more thing, then we'll kind of talk to you guys about what you think and what his legacy is, and your guys' eyes. I'm really curious, as Yankee fans, how you view him. I was talking to him one day at batting practice. He was just getting finished up, and I was playing third base, and I think we had Gibson on the mound. And I was like, "Hey, man, those sinkers in. I'm going to be ready for some hot shots at me." I said something stupid like that, and he looked at me and he goes, if I hit the ball to third base, if I hit the ball to you, it's on accident, Poppy. I'm never trying to hit the ball that way. So a lot of the articles about him using the opposite field and being a complete hitter, and I think a lot of people need to hear that, especially the younger kids that just kind of try to emulate and hit homers. I understand putting the ball in the air is a good thing, but you have to do it the right way. You got to learn how to hit to the opposite field. Pulling the ball should come last for you, and power should come last for you. You have to be able to hit. And Miguel Cabrera is that. He's not a power hitter. This guy is he's just a hitter. So it's kind of my spiel on old Miguel there, but kind of wanted to give him a shout out as he's nearing the 3,000 hit club, 5 away from it. It was a pleasure to watch it, to field those accidental ground balls from him, to watch him in BP, to try to take whatever I could away from him. He was always very, very gracious with that, even though he knew people were coming out there to pick his brain, to watch what he does, to try to, to best him. Nobody was besting him. I think he, for me, is, him and Pujols, the 2 best right-handed hitters of my generation.
Beautiful, Trev.
Good stuff. I mean, he crushed the Yankees. There's like a season when he crushed Mariano, and he was the only hitter that versus Mo, as a Yankees fan, it was the ultimate safety blanket. He was the only one that I remember being like, no, not him. Always, because you just got him. But I had a different avenue I wanted to share with you on Miggy Cabs. I found the pitcher who faced him the most and never gave up a hit. I think that's a pretty cool thing to be able to say.
Okay.
Chad Billingsley.
Whoa.
Old name. Chad Billingsley. 13 plate appearances, 12 at-bats, 0 hits. He does have the 1 walk.
That's fine.
But there are 3 active players who have 10 plate appearances, 9 plate appearances that have never allowed a hit to Miggy Cabs. And I was like, maybe they're coming for him. So I went into it. They're all on the same team, and they don't play Detroit. Michael Givens, Drew Smyly, and Stroman. Those 3 should get together in the Cubs locker room, and they should look at all the other pitchers and say, we've never given up a hit to Miguel Cabrera. Collectively, those guys have 0 hits in math. 24 at-bats against Miggy Cabs. Esmiel Rogers.
What do those guys do?
I don't know. Esmiel Rogers I wonder if there's something similar. Esmiel Rogers and Fernando Rodney are the only people that faced him more than 5 times and didn't walk him or give up a hit ever. So they can hang their hat on that.
He's an absolute stud. I'm trying to think okay, you mentioned those guys. What do they do? How would I approach Miguel Cabrera? I mean, most people just tried to pound him in. They know he wanted to get, the ball out over the plate, drive it to right center. The problem with that is you could do it for 1 at bat or maybe 2 at bats, but eventually if you decide to keep doing that, he's going to make an adjustment. And the same thing that was kind of another calling card of his, was just how quickly he could make adjustments. You don't play for 19 years in the show or 20 years in the show without being able to make adjustments, because the league is trying to figure you out. And there's not just one person trying to figure out. It's 29 teams trying to figure a guy like Miguel Cabrera out. So there's a lot of adjustments that need to be made. And the best hitters, do it from a bat to a bat. But Miguel Cabrera could do it pitch to pitch. And that's the truth. That. And that is, it sounds like cliche. He could do it pitch to pitch. No, he could do it. And he still can do it pitch to pitch. And not many hitters in the big leagues can say that. The adjustment period takes some time. You need to think about it. You have to have some really good proprioception. But Miggy he's just better, man. He's just better.
Some beauty of baseball, and I think that's where any Miguel Cabrera conversation should land. Chad Billingsley, shout out. 1-time All-Star, some pretty good years in the show. Some beauty of baseball on that side. Dave Roberts is 11 for 22. Your Dodgers manager hit 500 off of Chad Billingsley. and yet Miggy Cabs couldn't get him. So that just shows some beauty of baseball right there. For Miggy, a couple things. I always get caught up in the stats. I had a couple tweets last year that just show how good he was. From 05 to 2014, that's a 10-year span. Like we talk about 10-year spans too easily with some of these star baseball players. His in that 10-year span from 05 to 2014, the minimum amount of hits he had in a season, and you're saying, Jake, hits, that's a little dated, was $180. And by the way, that season where he had 180 hits, he led Major League Baseball in home runs. For that decade, he had a 977 OPS. Now, when it comes to Miggy Cabs and Pujols, I think Talking Baseball fans know I'm a Pujols guy. I copied his batting stance. I was in on that. But they are like just different hitters. Like when you say, Trev, Miguel Cabrera is a contact hitter that accidentally stumbled into years where he hit 44 home runs. He led MLB into homers twice, or at least the American League from what I'm looking at. A lot of bold on that page. He's a bold Eskimo bro with you and ground into double plays. You guys bond over that. For me, yeah, Trev, like I get so excited. We talk about Spencer Torkelson. We're going to hear stories about Spencer Torkelson 10 years from now, about how much Miguel Cabrera helped him become the ball player he is today. That stuff jazzes me up. And I also get jazzed up because now as we start to get older, my goatee comes in full. I still remember 2000 rookie Miguel Cabrera that was teammates with Jeff Conine, that was teammates with Hall of Famer Pudge Rodriguez, whose son is now in the league, his fourth year. He's in the Twins bullpen right now. Miggy Cabs played with that dude's pops. And he's still doing it. He's in the Tigers lineup. The numbers are not as flashy as they used to be, but like you said, the value of Miggy Cabs is going to be passing it on to this next Tigers team. The young guys we're seeing, the Torkelsons, Akil Baddoo, when Riley Green gets the call, what he's going to be able to pass on to them is awesome. And yeah, it's just appreciating how good is your good? Miguel Cabrera he's in rare air. He's in when we start talking about inner hall, small hall, that kind of thing, like Miguel Cabrera, when you start actually looking at all-time baseball players, he's in a very special place. So yeah, I know Jimmy and I are half excited. They're playing our Yanks this week, and he could make a little history, and I wouldn't be surprised if he tricks a couple of the Yankees pitchers. Garrett's been a little cocky with his pitching lately. I wouldn't be surprised if Miguel pulls out a couple things out of the bag of tricks.
I don't want to give away all the stories in the article. Go check it out. Stephen Nesbitt of The Athletic. A lot of great stories in there. I'm gonna leave you guys with this, which I think is the Tigers just need to give this guy $5 million a year and say, can you come just teach our guys for a couple months throughout the year? Keep him around as much as possible. That was one of the biggest reasons I wanted to come here, to learn something from Miggy. Who said that? Javi freaking Baez. You got one of the biggest free agents to come to your organization. Yeah, you paid him a lot of money, but he wanted to come learn from Miggy. It's pretty special, dude. So shout out Miggy. It was a pleasure, man, watching him hit, and he was always nice to me. And he didn't have to be.
That is nice of him to
be
nice to you.
We support that.
Jake and I both have topics. I'm going to go first because I'll keep mine nice and short and tidy because it's another article that I very much enjoyed reading, but I don't want to give the whole thing away. Also, my topic will be brought to you by Trade Coffee. Trade Coffee sends you freshly roasted beans from 60 of the country's best craft roasters. Sorry, 61st roaster. You're not good enough for Trade Coffee. Small businesses who pay farmers fair prices to sustainably source the greatest beans from around the world. You answer a couple questions about how you like your coffee. Even if you don't know, the answering process will let you understand more about yourself. Trade delivers a bag of freshly roasted coffee as whole beans or ground for however you brew it at home, and they guarantee you'll love your first order or they'll replace it for free. Trade has delivered over 5 million bags of fresh coffee with more than 750,000 positive reviews. Right now, Trade is offering new subscribers a total of $30 off your first order plus free shipping when you go to drinktrade.com/baseball. That's more than 40 cups of coffee for free. Get started by taking their quiz at drinktrade.com/baseball and let Trade find you a coffee you'll love. That's drinktrade.com/baseball for $30 off.
Tell me about it, Jim.
Eno Saris is a friend of ours.
Oh, Eno.
Got hit by a car once.
He makes sandwiches all the time.
Big sandwich guy. Created his own stat, basically. Stuff plus. I don't know if he created it, but I think I give him full credit. I think he did create it. Well, he wrote an article, and he kept up to date on the Stuff Plus in spring training, and he wrote an article of very early, and obviously all we have is early to talk about. So instead of just being silent, we're talking about early. He wrote about the 5 pitchers that have improved their Stuff Plus. And so far this season, through 1 or 2 starts. Because really, if it's drastic, it's like, oh, that dude's slider looks different. Like Heaney, we talked about him. His slider curve is different. The most fun one is Jesus Luzardo, because he got traded from the A's. He was supposed to be a stud, and then kind of was like, okay, and like an afterthought trade, kind of, and all this stuff. His first start of the season, he strikes out 12 Angels hitters in, I want to say it was 4 innings, 4.1 innings. Something ridiculous. I think it was less than 5 innings. I'm going to pull it up. I had it up. I closed the tab by accident. 5 innings. Struck out 12 Angels batters in 5 innings. Only gave up 1 earned run. Only allowed 2 hits. And the data backs it up. He is one of the pitchers whose stuff has changed drastically, Trev. Like really drastically. He's got a whole new arsenal. He added so his sinker got faster and an inch more of run. His four-seamer has more ride, late life, and got 1.5 miles per hour faster. His changeup added 2 inches of run, and his breaking ball also got faster. So everything got a little bit faster, and the things that move a little more. And it came to fruition in game 1. So for him personally to be working on all that stuff and then in game 1 have those results, that's got to be incredibly rewarding to strike out 12 guys. So I'm on a little bit of like, okay, Jesus Luzardo watch. I'm going to watch this out. Another guy is Alex Cobb. Have you seen his fastball? And like, he's a completely new pitcher, like the Gossman effect.
What are
like,
they doing?
What are they doing?
Giants.
I don't know, dude. Wasn't he throwing like 96 or something?
Yeah. With run.
Has he ever thrown that hard? Like maybe his rookie year, like right when he came up, all that adrenaline. But are you kidding me?
I think it was like his first start with the Giants was like his 5th hardest throwing start of his career, like a very long major league career for Alex Cobb.
Yeah,
It averaged 94.5. Last year was 92. In 2018 it was
jump.
91.9.
Oh my God.
All of his pitches ticked up. His split finger ticked up from 87 to 90. Curveball from 83 to 83.6. That's not much, but so I like this stuff because go to this article by Eno. It's on The Athletic. It's 5 pitchers whose stuff has changed the most early this MLB season. And on the flip side, so McGill, also a guy that's on there who's just showed results for the Mets. I think he's pitching right now. I'm not sure how he's doing. And then on the other side of it, you have some scarier ones. Bieber is down drastically. We've talked about the spin rate stuff with him. Sonny Gray his velo dropped a lot at the end of last year, and it stayed low. And Robbie Ray was down 15 stuff plus points. Still had a good outing.
Interesting.
I don't know what it all means. I'm not smart enough. I know that I trust Eno. And I just think it's like an added element of like what to watch for when you watch a guy. If you just go look at, his list of guys, and then Aaron Ashby was a big one. He's the biggest change in stuff, and he already had nasty stuff. Our guy Mitch Keller is an interesting one. We met him in Arizona. All of his pitches got nastier, but he hasn't shown the ability to command them yet, which makes them not, it kind of levels it out. So yeah, I just think that is interesting and you guys should go read the article and look at the names, and then when you watch games, have that info in the back of your mind.
Yeah, he like updates his list of stuff plus for the pitchers, kind of goes through different guys throughout the year. So definitely give Eno a follow. Go check all the stuff he writes. He's my favorite baseball writer. Like, I don't think there's anybody else I'd rather read than him. I'm fascinated by all of this sudden change for pitchers. I don't want to go too far into it because we have talked about it before with all the tech. The seam shifted wake. I'm reading an article on Driveline right now about there's no such thing as late movement. It's just an optical illusion. And now guys they're just trying to make things different. Like you just want to be a little bit different from everybody else. If everybody's ball is moving this way, you just want your ball to move a little less that way or a little the opposite way. And it just will mess everybody up. You're going to have weak contact, low barrel rates against you. And pitchers are ridiculous, dude. It's like you already control all the variables. Now you have access to tech that can really unlock more variables, I guess. Like, what's a hitter supposed to do, man? Anyone that's hitting in today's game, anyone that is a good hitter in today's game, you need to just like appreciate what they're doing because they're living through a time in baseball where pitchers have more of an advantage than probably ever. So hats off to you guys.
I think where I would lean in that conversation, well, I'll take you on the Jakey roadmap of what just happened there. How about baby Jesus? He was traded for rental Starling Marte in the Oakland A's that did not make the playoffs. And man, if the Marlins tap into him, holy smokes, because yeah, that's one of those young pitchers and arm talent and buying in and being in the right place at the right time. And when do you cut and go on a prospect? It is, kind of make or break for a lot of GMs. That being said, I feel like we keep stumbling into this organizational conversation where you mentioned Alex Cobb and the Giants. We talked about it. The Giants are the 1-1 team right now at developing their major league talent in-house. Alex Cobb. I mean, think about it. How long have you seen Alex Cobb around if you've been a baseball fan? We said hi to him a couple spring trainings ago.
Orioles spring training.
And yeah,
you think
right?
the Orioles taught him how to pitch?
He was just twirling it at Orioles camp. And here he is now with the San Francisco Giants, a team that won 107 last year. And he might be a massive guy on that team. Which brings me back to the Florida Fish. And Trev, you were tasting yourself a little bit the other day on your prediction how if there was a deep cut you could go to find a World Series team, it would be those Miami Marlins. Because why? They have some crazy young pitching. We need to start giving the Marlins organization some more love. Think about the young pitchers in their farm system right now. Not their farm system, on the squad. Alcantara, they gave him the extension. Pablo Lopez, go look at his numbers. What Trevor Rogers did last year. Eliezer Hernandez. Baby Jesus now. How about a name from yesteryear that we've kind of forgotten? Sixto Sanchez is supposed to start throwing soon again. How many organizations, we'll lean back on our Yankees a little bit, struggle to develop young pitching because it's one of the hardest things to do in the sport? If you've got that, you can kind of go undefeated as a franchise as long as your team is willing to spend money elsewhere, Marlins. But yeah, I think as much as we've been giving the San Francisco Giants coaching staff for their MLB player development, what the Florida Marlins have been doing, Miami Marlins, with their young pitchers, they deserve a ton of credit because, I mean, to have a crop of young pitchers like that just does not happen in Major League Baseball.
No, they are doing it. You mentioned Sixto. He'll be back midsummer. And yeah, if they do get a wild card, they get into a series where they can just chop the pitching staff down, they are one of the more scary teams. They got to find some offense. But look, they're in a position to go get offense. I picked the Brewers to win the World Series predicated on the fact that I think they're going to go get a bat during the year. So Marlins are kind of in the same position. Maybe. What if the Phillies just traded Castellanos to them and ate some of the money and they're like, sweet.
Ain't that it? Yeah, I wonder when we ever get the real side of Jeet's story.
There were like rumors, but yeah, probably not Streeter. I never.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe never.
Maybe in his new documentary that's coming out. It's the last thing.
Final scene.
If you're a hitter and you want to feel sick to your stomach, I'm sure most guys that are playing nowadays have all this info and kind of hear it from their peers, their pitching peers. I'm reading some of these articles about like spin axis and the Magnus effect and the seam shifted wake. It is, man, it's scary. As a hitter, it's scary to read stuff like this because you just know this is the tip of the iceberg, dude. Like guys are just learning how to manipulate the ball. Like they're making pitches up. Like they're designing pitches, dude. Like they're designing filthy pitches and then they can learn to throw them very quickly. And what are you supposed to do as a hitter? This guy just makes up fucking pitches out of nowhere.
Said something like the Yankees had the Lindsay Adler article said something like, who's head of pitch design for the Yankees? And I was like, head of pitch design? Fuck. Guy just tinkers with the settings of a pitching machine and then sees what the balls does.
Your arm angle and how it comes out and how it moves, all of that.
Need him.
They're learning that. They're learning about that too, about like the guys that have like that, the so-called ride on their fastballs. A lot of them, when they come from like a lower arm angle, that's what helps them. Like a Joe Ryan, I was reading something about him. He has this arm angle over here, try to get in the screen, instead of on top of the ball, and it just has the appearance of it staying up or rising. We know it doesn't rise, but it just kind of stays up there, and it's just a little bit different. Fastballs are supposed to be coming down this way, and all of a sudden you see one, and it just kind of like doesn't go down just as much, and you just swing under it, dude. Like hitting is you have to see a million balls. You have to have muscle memory. You know what balls are going to do. And all of a sudden, they're just not going to do what they're supposed to do. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Sorry for laughing, but you reading a good pitching article and seeing it as like a horror movie makes me laugh inside.
It's pretty awesome.
It's seriously frightening because
you think
what
the hitters
hitter
are passing around like, you seeing this shit? We're fucked.
No, they're mad. That's why guys are like, get the sticky stuff out of the game, because you already have all this other stuff that you can do. You can't have all of this. Like it really does like make me nervous. Like I feel nervous right now just thinking about what's to come. Not this year, not next year, maybe. Like I'm talking we're going to see level up in pitching. Like, have you seen the dude from Japan, the new
Roki
that averages 100 miles per hour, and like he had 17 perfect innings in a row? Like what are we doing?
He is going to look great in pinstripes. And that the pitch shaping, this is always I've got a weird brain, we all know that. Mariano Rivera and his cutter, I've had this comparison for life. Like I had no idea how this got into my brain. Olympic hurdlers are all the like exact same height, because to be an optimal hurdler, I think it's like 6 foot flat. Like to run as fast as you can and be able to jump over the hurdles, 6 foot is ideal. And that is Mariano Rivera, height, size, and arm angle for his cutter. It's why it's the perfect pitch. Like that in my brain has always made sense, and it's a weird brain up there.
Pedro Martinez, he has long ass fingers. Can manipulate the ball, like choke down on the changeup. Like, yeah, dude. It's like Michael Phelps is built for swimming. There are some guys who are just have weird things.
Why don't they just
born with?
Move the hurdles like 2 feet farther apart, and then that's the 6'3" to 6'5" best hurdlers in the world.
Different hurdle races.
And then move them a little closer, and that's the 5'6" to 5'10" hurdle races. So we're just making the hurdle jump distance perfect for 6 foot to 6'1" people. Anyone that's not 6 foot to 6'1" male shouldn't even try to hurdle. That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
You can overcome some adversity. It's all right.
They got weight classes in wrestling and weight classes in boxing. But in the hurdles, it's fucking designed for 6 foot to 6'1" people. I'm out on hurdling now. I don't find it impressive.
You know how hitters feel. Everything is designed for pitchers.
I didn't know that. I just Googled it when Jake said it. I'm so out on hurdling. I will never watch it again.
Sorry, dog.
So it says here that if you're 6 foot or 6'1", it's perfectly distant to take 3 steps before the jump.
Yep.
What if you have?
Well, why don't you do like
legs?
some that are close and some that are farther, and then find out who there's a 5'10" guy out there or a 6'4" guy that's fucking way better than these 6'1" perfect hurdlers. Fucking level up and make it harder. I'm mad. I'm out on hurdling. That's a bullshit sport.
I'm out. If you're out, I'm out.
That's crazy bullshit.
For that reason, I'm out.
Jake, what do you want to talk about?
I know a Shark Tank guy.
Great stuff, fellas. Great stuff all around the board there. And by the
Wow,
way,
we went hitter to pitching. What are you gonna do?
another name that needs to be mentioned at the end of that segment, as I mentioned, Starling Marte for Baby Jesus and Jeter. Kim Ng ran that trade. And by the way, that Marlins roster keeps looking better and better. She deserves a lot of love. Guys, I was going to KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. I wanted to get into some of the numbies. I think I saw our guy Eno. It's a big Eno up. Let's get him on soon. Hot. Let's get him to the city. Guy. Oh, a city night with Eno? Fire me up. I saw him tweet out something like, hey, Kyle Tucker fans, stay calm. He's going to be all right. And I was like, whoa, is Kyle Tucker in trouble? What's going on? I want to go into some expected stats because normally, Trev, we're pretty tough on the expected stats. Me and Jim are some of the firmest believers in, hey, expected stats are for the future. The stats that happened, let's appreciate that. If you have a 3 flat ERA, but you know, the expected stats say you should have a 5 flat, I'm not going to penalize your 3er. That happened. It's okay. Good job. Now, going forward, am I going to be a little nervous? Yes. And that's what expected stats are. Your WOBAs, some of your, some of the pitching stats and things like that. I was going to get into the hitters a little bit because, we've got a lot. Expected WOBA, there's one for you. We've even got expected batting average and things like that. And the reason our guy Eno brought up Kyle Tucker, who, by the way, again, that's a stat page you should look at. My dude has an argument to be like the best player on the Houston Astros team that everyone around the league lives in fear of. Kyle Tucker right now is hitting 114. Ooh, Trev, how's it feel to look at the scoreboard and see a $114 up there?
You just don't look at the scoreboard.
Yeah.
You avoid eye contact with a scoreboard until you at least have a 2.
Yeah. He has a top 21 in baseball expected WOBA. He is 21 right now. Guys around him, Frankie Lindor just gave him an award for how good he's playing this year. Alex Verdugo hitting 333. Jose Ramirez is like 20 points above him. Jose Ramirez right now is hitting 457. Kyle Tucker, it's going to come around. And Eno kind of pointed that out. So I was like, who else?
Eno episode.
It's a big Eno episode. He's kind of our guy. We trust him. Isn't that nice? So I just want to throw out a couple other names out there who the numbers, and maybe I'm talking fantasy baseball. If you're a fantasy baseball trader, if you've been on the AMP app, listen to our guy Jolly. He's doing a fantasy show on there. We got a fantasy league in the office right now, Heated. If you're looking
What's our team name?
The Heated Heaters.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
It's the Butt Ugly
Bandits, something like that.
Nah, I forget.
It's
the Butt Ugly Boiler Boys.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. A couple other guys who's not seeing the results right now and should be seeing them soon, according to the ex-WOBA. Our guy Jose Abreu, he's hitting 212 right now. He's got a crazy ex-WOBA right now. Who was my other guy? I don't want to do any of the guys that are going to drop off because they're not. They're studs.
Don't do it. They're studs. They're the best.
Our favorite name to say on the show now, Luis Robert. He's hitting a buck.
Say that again.
Luis Robert.
Louis Robert. Can you roll that R for me?
You know I can't, Trev. He's hitting 194. Expected WOBA of 462. So Kyle Tucker, Louis Robert. Yeah, mine comes out with kind of hissy at the end. I don't like that. Jesse Winker, friend of the pod. People forget that.
Yeah.
People forget that. He's on the interstate. He's on I-52 right now. He's got a 408X WOBA. So yeah, I just want to highlight a couple guys. And hey, maybe you live in fantasy baseball land. Throw out your Winker trade. go get you some Louis Roba. Because those guys are doing it. It's just so early in the season that they are not seeing the results yet. I shouldn't say guys on the other end of the spectrum. No.
Don't do it.
No.
There's nothing worse than people as a hitter. There's nothing worse than people saying, "Oh man, you look really good right now." I understand. Maybe guys nowadays are more receptive to expected stats. Like, deep down as a hitter, you hit the ball well. Your exit velo's good. Maybe you just ran into a bad shift or whatever it may be, but you still want to see the numbers, man. Like, yeah, I lined out really hard at the second baseman 3 times today. Like, oh, good job. Yeah, but I didn't get any hits. And I think you have to have that as a hitter. You have to know that, like, it's coming. It's going to happen. Maybe those I got 3 line drives hit right at somebody today. Well, that means that a blooper is going to fall tomorrow. And if you can continuously think like that instead of just looking straight at the numbers, it's going to serve you well. All these guys are going to be fine. Like you said, Kyle Tucker's an absolute stud. Jesse Winker's a stud. Jesse Winker's one of the more surprising baseball reference pages for me when you go and just kind of see his stats.
My guy.
It's eye-opening. But I am all in on Kyle Tucker. That whole Astros, it's hard to be the best player on a team that, like the Astros, that has Yordan, that has a guy like who's just Jeremy Pena that just came out and replaced Correa. Like, this is
Oramy.
He's a stud. Oramy?
That's how I used to pronounce Jeremy before I went to the trailer.
Just a reminder, for anyone that didn't see it, I think it was last year or 2 years ago. Maybe 2 years, 2020.
Maybe it was 2 years.
The Jesse Winker interview, I opened up and I went full Chris Farley on him, and I was just like, dude, you're really good.
Yeah, one of the funnier first questions.
You're really good.
Not classic Jake, not a question.
It wasn't a question. It was a statement. Like, you're good, dog. He's like, all right.
I miss interviews, trying to work through it. We were not. I don't think we were good at giving interviews.
Welcome to the show.
Our audience didn't like him.
No.
They'll come back. Whether we do an interview whenever, like, Winker wanted to come on. Longo wanted to come on. If players ask to come on, we'll have him on.
Know who's playing pretty well and the numbers kind of respect it?
Who's that?
Guy who co-hosts The Compound.
In
whoops.
He's been raking.
Happer. Have yourself a day, kid.
He's good.
So, yeah, and I again, flashing back to some of last year's episodes, I remember, I think later in the year when you get more of a data sample, it's always that midway point. People are looking for who had the worst first half and who's going to bounce back in the second half. So maybe we'll revisit that then. And yeah, Trev, it does have to be an interesting thing, because like Jesse Winker, like, I think his expected batting average is 272 and he's hitting 154. I think for a guy like him, he's like, all right, I'm doing my thing. They're going to start dropping. I saw Alex Dickerson. He's currently hitting 048 and the numbers say he should be hitting 254. I think if I'm Alex Dickerson, I'm like, oh, fuck that. This sucks. So, yeah, healthy balance.
Maybe nowadays guys know that teams are actually looking at these stats and, like, they can get paid off, like, hey, you had a down year, but your expected stats were good. Like, they'll like pay you for that. We're gonna get this positive regression. I don't know if teams were looking at that back in my day. So you had to have real numbers.
Stats matter still, and that's our hashtag here.
Results matter.
Keep paper out of baseball, and results matter.
Wait, hold on. Do they matter, though?
Yes.
Andrew Heaney got $10 million this year based on expected stuff, based on just metrics. Like, there are teams now, like the Giants, who are going to pursue guys because here's some numbers that we like. We think we can exploit these.
Why didn't he get 18 million?
Because he didn't have a great year. I'm talking about listen. Prior to these expected stats and data points, he wouldn't even have had a job. Like he would.
But
be
also,
like a
no other
non-roster
team
invite.
in the MLB would have paid him what Dodgers.
And
Dodgers
that's
paid
where
against
the
themselves.
expected comes in. If it was only stats, Heaney would have been a minor league invite, but because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has those, and
Yeah,
that's
Jake and I aren't against analytics or expected
That's
stats.
new.
There's just
That's new though that teams are looking at.
Yes,
that.
there's a portion of
yeah.
the internet that Jake and I have been fighting with forever, back from like
like when it
3
comes.
years ago, that just only care about.
We did it with
expected.
you, Trev. Like when awards
Yeah.
come out, if you can't tell me the deciding vote. If a pitcher's got a better ERA, but another pitcher has better expected stats, give me the guy that had the ERA for that year. For the next year, I might want the guy with the expected stats. So I think that's
I could argue that like FIP against that because a lot of it is based on what your fielders do. I don't know.
I hate FIP, and I think it's worthless, and I don't care about FIP at all.
I FIP with FIP. I'm FIP.
If you were a pitcher on a horseshit defensive team, you'd care about FIP.
Sure, but as a fan,
Yeah.
or like, I don't care because I like pitchers who pitch to contact.
Right, but that's, I think the Zach Wheeler was the great argument last year with a historically bad defense. Like, what could his numbers have been with a good defense?
Strike guys out.
That shouldn't fall on Zach. You're not a big strikeout guy. So,
But I mean, it's a team. I don't like FIP. FIP is for pitchers who hate their teammates and are bad teammates. Like, fuck FIP. That is the most individualistic stat in a team game you can find.
Yeah, I mean, it literally
The
says
eye
independent
stands.
in the
I know. I don't like the whole vibe of it.
This is pitchers. Yeah, I hate pitchers too. Okay, so
Oh, by the way, Trevor, I figured out why pitchers kind of suck.
okay.
Played some blitzball, and I was sore for 4 days. Pitchers are sore. That's why they're miserable people. They're always sore.
No, they're not, dude. They're fine. You don't think position players are always
Yeah.
sore? What about a catcher, bro?
Catchers are sick puppies. They love baseball the most.
There's
That's
real
why they're
ball
managers.
players.
Like yeah. Catchers should hate pitchers. They probably do once you get a little brown.
Plus, dude, if you pitched all the time, you wouldn't be sore. They get massages. Don't trust me. You don't want to be part of that at all. Just they're bad. You're on my side. You're on my side with this one.
Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Appreciate you. Trev, are you coming from Hawaii next episode on Monday or Friday?
No.
No, I'll be home.
All right, cool. That's the show. You guys are the best.
Shout out relievers.
I have relievers
I'm
are
only
badass.
talking about starters.
Yeah.
Only starters. Happy 420.
Jake sucks.